Thank you all for coming. It's a great day to be a Red Raider, and it's only going to get better as the day goes a little bit longer today, and it's only going to get better this spring. So I am excited to talk about these guys that are new additions to our football program. It has been a very, very fast and furious 2 months as we signed some of the guys in December. We signed a few in this period. And then obviously we're going to sign some more coming up this spring. And it's been a fun process. There's been a tremendous amount of, I think, positive response to Texas Tech. And, we want guys that want to be here. We want families that want to be here. And, there's an old Spike Dykes quote. It's in our staff room. And I tell you what, there's a lot of truth to it. It says if you're going to have to beg them to come to Lubbock, you're going to have to beg them to play hard. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that. And there's a lot of people and a lot of really good players, I'll just say it that way, that want to be at Texas Tech, and that's who we want here. Kids that are going to play extremely hard and I think represent the Red Raiders in the right way. Just to highlight some of these, I'm going to try to go through some of the ones that we signed right now, and then I'll open it up for questions. Tony Bradford, North Shore High School state championship, key player, Houston Touchdown Club Defensive Player of the Year. Kid's got a great motor, plays extremely hard, very bright, high character, great mom, and I'm excited about that one. Jonathan Garibay, kicker, punter out of California, one of the highest rated available kickers and punters. We've known about him for a long time. Coach Lorig has. I have. We recruited him at the last school I was at. But very highly ranked with Jamie Cole and Chris Saylor out there. He's a kickoff guy. Huge leg, big leg, punter, field goal. Actually can do all three of it and will come in and compete for immediate playing time ASAP. The other punter, Austin McNamara. Austin came out of Phoenix. I'm going to tell you what, guys, we just made ourselves better. It's not something you guys going to want to talk about because it's kickers, but it's an extremely big part of this program. The snappers that are going to come into this program, the punter, the kicker, and we have made drastic improvement in 1 month. Joe Lorig's, our special teams coordinator, is the one to credit with that, and also these kids and their commitment to come here, and I think you're going to see a high level of specialist play here at Tech. Those two guys have big legs, very highly recruited, could have chosen a lot of places, and I'm excited they're going to be here. And Austin's a freshman, and so 4 years after that, and then Jonathan's got 2 years. So really excited to talk about those guys and have them in the program. Go down. Who's the next one? Dadrion Taylor is out of Carl Albert High School, Midwest City, Carl Albert in Oklahoma City, State Player of the Year in his classification, which is a tremendous honor in that state. All everything, running back, all everything athlete, basketball player, tremendous basketball player, track and field state qualifier, won a state championship basketball, state championship this year in football. The guy's a winner, guy's a leader. We're going to play him at corner and nickel. And he's got great athletic skills, a very explosive young man. Cole Thomas, offensive lineman out of Washington, tall, long, comes from a very athletic family, and dad played at UW. Cole is a young man that I think is going to get better, bigger, better with Coach Scholes, Coach Farmer's teaching and coaching, and he's got a bright future, can play tackle, long, length, and athleticism. Another guy that fits that mode is Quentin Williams out of Clear Lake in Houston. Outside backer, stand up, will play our Raider position when he starts to eat and metabolism slows down and he starts eating right and getting in Coach Scholes' weight room and nutrition program. He may end up putting his hand down at DN, but he is a twitchy, very, very developmental in terms of his best football is ahead of him. I can't wait to watch this kid. Great mom, great family, great story. So give me a second. Let me make sure this was not in the order that we signed them. So let me just make sure I didn't skip over somebody. Did I, Matt?
No, I believe you
I got them all.
got them all.
I did. Okay, thank you. All right, let me go ahead and open up for questions.
On Dadrian Taylor, since he was a real prolific running back as well, when you looked at him, and you had mentioned that you wanted running backs too, what made you decide that you view him more as a cornerback than a running back?
I think he could play running back here, to be honest with you, but I think, the athleticism that we've evaluated, his explosiveness, you can evaluate that on the basketball court. He's got real track speed. We need to upgrade, our athleticism really in the defensive backfield, I think, as for our younger guys, I should say. But shoot, I think he could play a lot of spots. He's going to be a really good special teams player early in his career.
Coach, is Cole Thomas on full scholarship, or is he preferred walk-on?
He'll be a preferred walk-on to begin with.
And when you were recruiting him, what were some of the things that you saw from him in his game, or just him personally, that made you really want to go get him?
I tell you, one of the biggest things is his length, his athleticism, his ability to bend. He's got I think, a frame to put on a lot of weight. He's also a guy that, as we evaluated him, he got better as his senior year went on. His junior tape to camp evaluation, a live evaluation, to October tape to November tape got better. That tells me a lot about a kid's heart and his want to. And there's some kids out there that, I think tank it a little bit and don't play as hard, and you can see that on tape. And that's also the reason a lot of kids end up getting, you kind of quit recruiting them too. And but I think that tells a lot about a kid's heart and about his character, about his work ethic, and about what you're going to see when you get him here. So I'm very impressed with him.
Coach, you said, some exciting news hopefully later today as well. How many more people would you like to sign? How many more spots do you have?
Some. There will be some. I'm looking forward to some more news as the day goes on. So I think you guys will like it too.
So the six guys that you just talked about, 5 of them are scholarship players, is that correct?
Yeah.
Johnson Garibay, are you viewing him primarily as a kicker? Since he and McNamara both kicked and punted.
Mm-hmm. Austin is a punter that also kicks off and can kick long field goals. Garibay's got a huge leg and will for sure compete for a long field goal job. We're going to have multiple kickers in here this summer, training camp, competing for that job. Coming out of spring, going into training camp, there'll be multiple kickers in that job as well as punter. Jonathan can punt. Austin can punt. May have another one in here that can punt. And then the fun evaluation will be seeing who wins the kickoff job. There's 3,200 feet in Lubbock. Did y'all know that? I learned something. Those balls ought to be flying out with these kickers.
So staying on that subject, since you're talking about having a lot of kickers to compete for that job, how many kickers are on campus now? Obviously, you lost half.
We have one, Trey Wolf.
Yeah. It's another walk-on that you have.
Yeah. We walked into a very tough kicking situation in terms of just numbers. And then there's not anybody on campus. We have one punter and one kicker for the spring, and that'll be good. And then we will add some and have great competition in training camp. But our kicking, snapping, punting situation has vastly improved over the last month. Joe Lorig's the one to credit with that. He's came in and gone to work and evaluated these guys on video and then done a great job of recruiting them.
How important is it to kind of build that Oklahoma pipeline, especially with the relationship you have there?
Well, it's, first and foremost, no different than when I've stood up here the other two times. We're going to recruit the state of Texas, first and foremost, Lubbock, West Texas, and then out, knowing that there's going to be times that we're going to leave the state. The Oklahoma, honestly, as close as Oklahoma is to Lubbock, Texas, you could consider it in terms of driving distance and flight distance an in-state area. We have a ton of connections in Oklahoma. Coach Patterson, myself, my brother, Coach Farmer, every one of us. It's not going to take a higher precedent than Texas, but certainly we're going to recruit the state, and then we'll recruit out of state as need be. You know, obviously you can see both kickers are from out of state, and we came in late, and we're going to add a couple more kickers this summer. And but I think you're going to see us. We will major in the state of Texas, and then we'll minor in some grad transfers, 4-year transfers, out of state, mostly out. The only out of state region that will recruit, I think consistently is Oklahoma, and then we'll obviously recruit junior college as need be in terms of depth.
The signings you have now, I guess, obviously you're gonna potentially have some more later, but I guess what were some of the, I guess, goals, I guess, from the staff that you were either looking to plug up, or I guess what were some things that you were looking to kind of figure out after you got that first signing class initially to now?
Well, you're just, you're looking for position-specific guys. You're looking at some depth. Some positions need to come compete immediately, the punter and the kicker, like immediately. And then there's going to be some spots that we fill for depth as well as some immediate playing time this spring.
Coach, can you talk about McLean Mannix, the transfer?
Yeah, I will. I'm excited about McLean. He's transferred from Nevada, had 2 really good years. I think 1 year he caught 57 balls, one was 50. Freshman All-American. I saw him on tape. We didn't recruit him at Utah State out of high school, but when the situation came up with him transferring and getting close to home, we were certainly interested in him, and I'm excited he's here. He's been in, he works his tail off. We saw him on a lot of cross tape at Utah State. As you can imagine, being in the Mountain West, the kid can play. He's a very good player, very good route runner, sure hands, strong hands. And so it'll be fun to watch him compete this spring and this summer.
Coach, you mentioned the need for defensive backs for numbers in the early period. Reese has them now, only see 2 signed. Is that something you plan to address through late additions or junior college or grad transfers?
Yes.
Okay.
D, all the above.
Do all the above?
Yeah.
Do you have an idea for how many y'all are looking at?
Some.
So,
I'm not going to give you a specific number. You guys know better than that. So, yeah, DBs, probably another wideout, maybe a couple more skill guys. So,
Tony Bradford, if I remember right, it seemed like some of the highlights I saw, it looked like he's playing kind of a 3 technique. Where do y'all kind of envision him?
he'll be a D, he'll be a 4-eye. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more about him, just in terms of?
High motor, very high motor. He's a kid that he's a high motor, high character leader. You walk into North Shore High School, everybody loves Tony Bradford. Everybody does. Leader on that team. I think he was a huge reason why they won the state championship. Behind the scenes, locker room, great mom, phenomenal mom. You can see right where it starts. It starts at home. And that was a kid that stayed committed, basically committed a month ago. Would have signed in December. Was easier to sign now because of just some stuff. So, but had remained very, very committed. Aaron Donald is his hero, and everybody can see a 6-foot D lineman and the impact you can make. And that's who he models his game after, but he is a pass rushing guy and high motor. Be fun to watch him.
And when did Quentin Williams come onto y'all's radar?
Last few weeks.
What did you observe on his tape?
Tall, long, rangy, twitchy, Russia passer, very raw, underdeveloped, and I think I think he's a guy that can play multiple spots, just depending on what his body does once we get him in here. Like I said earlier, metabolism slows down. He gets in the nutrition program and what Dave's going to do with him in the weight room. I think he's got a high upside.
Speaking of Quentin, you said when you offered it was pretty emotional for him. Can you kind of share your perspective?
Yeah, that was. It's just a, really cool behind the scene moment. A kid and his mom, you know, chasing a dream, and life hadn't been perfect for him. School wasn't perfect, home life wasn't perfect, but you see a mom that loves her son and has sacrificed so many things for him, and you know, for him to get to, you know, come to Texas Tech and do it at this level, just really, you know, really a cool story, and something that Coach Randolph and I got to see up close and personal, and a lot of respect for him. He'll play with the chip on his shoulder, I promise you that.
Other than these guys committing to your staff, is there anything collectively that they all share in common between the December group and this group?
Yeah, and I know this is my first signing class here, but the biggest thing that this class seems like, even though we got more numbers to come, is leadership, high character, team captains, leaders in the school, several of them multi-sport state championship guys, you know, and I think that's very important. I think those guys end up becoming glue guys. They become guys that are, you know, help with player accountability. You know, a lot of these guys, you know, I guess there's only a couple junior college guys in this class. They'll come in on the ground floor and be freshmen in this program, and you know, part of our first initial signing class, and you know, I bought into you know, who we are and what we do, and for a lot of them stayed committed, and a lot of them stayed true, and a lot of them in the last 72 hours, especially now, have gotten bombarded by other schools with offers here and there, and you know, all of a sudden Texas Tech sees something in somebody nobody else does, and then they've got a few new best friends in the last 72 hours. I mean, you know, and so when they stay true to you, I think that deepens a relationship, deepens a commitment from a coach and a player, and I think that's builds trust. And so I see so many of them, and I just remember, I'm just reminded when you walk into schools and gyms and the places that I've been to see some of these kids, is just to hear their coaches talk about them. Stuck out a lot to me. I don't know, it'll be interesting to see if I say this every year. You know, I would like to say it every year, but when you asked me that question, it's the first thing that came to my mind. You know, a lot of team captains and a lot of leaders and multi-sport guys that have won state championships.
We like to say that like signing day is the Christmas, you're going to get all your new presents out and running. Is tomorrow for you like the first day where you're back on schedule with regards to getting to West Texas, getting moved in, getting a coaching staff, getting in the signing class, and now you can just get back on track to being a football coach?
Yeah, Monday morning was for me. I felt that way Monday morning when I could go into the weight room and start coaching our guys and watching our guys and evaluating our guys. But yeah, it does a little bit. But you know what, in this day and age with the grad transfer market and the transfer portal and all that, there's going to be more things to come. I mean, we've already moved on to 2020s and 2021s and a 2022. That was a singular statement. And, you know, so it doesn't end. It just slows down for a minute, you know, and then it picks right back up. But, you know, I like the start that we're off in the 2020 class, and that's when you start trying to establish relationships. And you know what, signing classes to me they're judged, and y'all don't like this, but they're judged 3 years from now. They're not judged today. They're judged 3 years. Did these kids fit? Did they come in and contribute? How many all-conference players? How many starters? How many contributors? How many did not make it? I mean, am I taking a bunch of academic risks or am I not? You know, did they not make it or did they make it? How you add transfers and grad transfers today in this day and age, and the productivity of them on the field to help your program now and some in the future. I think that's how you judge it.
Were you taking any academic risks?
They all are until they graduate high school. I'm not at liberty to talk about their academics.
From December 19th, when you signed 11 guys, how close did you come to to achieving what you expected to do in the last 6 weeks or whatever?
Oh, Don, I think that's a great question, but I didn't put a certain expectation because I wasn't, you're not sure how it's going to go. All I know is we went after certain guys. We weren't going to dip below a certain line or a certain level. The guys that are here and that signed here are the guys that truly wanted to be here, and both their parents or one parent wanted them to be here, and those are the ones that we're excited about signing. You never hit on every single kid. Nobody ever does. And so to paint that type of picture would be very unrealistic. So we didn't do that. But I can tell you this, the goals of getting, invested in kids and trying to establish relationships and signing, as well as getting a head start on the 2020s and 2021s, as well as being around here as much as we can and being around our players. We've certainly done that in the last 6 weeks. Well, not 6 weeks because you had a couple dead weeks, but the last month. And then now we're right on to 2020s, a few more to add to this class, and coaching our guys the month of February, off season, getting ready for spring ball.
Coach, can you talk about one of the local guys, preferred walk-on, Jet Wakefield?
He was
Injured and that's.
he can't.
We can't? Okay.
Sorry. Any other questions?
Come on, Chris, one more to finish this off.
What do you, oh, sorry.
How much patience did you have to show in focusing on that you'll have a full year with the 2020 class, and that you, instead of just filling spots right now, because there's probably guys you could have added.
100%.
But instead you guys have
Yep.
focused on 2020. It seems to me like a lot.
Yeah, and Chris, that's a juggling, that's a balance of what you just asked. We're not going to reach. I'm not going to sign a kid late just to take him from another school and have a signing day victory. That's silly. I'm not going to do that to that logo. I'm going to get guys that want to be here, that are Big 12 caliber players, that we can develop to Big 12 caliber players or already are, and that can help us on our goal to get to the month of November and compete for a championship. And we're not going to dip below that line. And so you're juggling that. You're juggling 2020s and evaluating those guys as thorough as you can in terms of basketball games or that was big for us this January on Tuesday nights, especially here in the state. And some Friday nights, actually, we've been, especially locally. So we're able to do that and be out and to be evaluating, but also establish relationships with the Texas high school coaches, which is extremely important. And I think our staff's done a good job. You only get one chance to make a first impression. And I think that has gone well, very well. We've been everywhere in the state, and we had a lot of guys stay out on Friday and Saturday night when you didn't have as many recruits in, and that is what that's all about, is establishing those relationships at those basketball games and those kind of things, as well as flying the colors and being seen and being out and about. And I think we've done a good job of that, and that'll be extremely important as we move forward, is the relationships with the coaches in this state.
So what position or position groups do you still want to add people at between now and start of next season?
Well, just like I answered earlier, probably another receiver and probably a couple DBs, maybe some skill kids.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Good?
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.